Well, hey guys, good evening. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Great to be with you this evening. Thank you so much for deciding to join me. We have another amazing show for you guys, so I hope you are definitely going to enjoy it. It's definitely a very good show. We always have great shows here, guys, so it's great to be with you again. If this is your very first time joining me on Inspirations for Your Life, well, I want to take the opportunity to say yes. Thank you for joining me. Thank you so much for joining me on the show. It is really a privilege and a pleasure to have you here. And if you're coming back, of course, I want to say something to you. I want to say welcome back. So it's great to have people that enjoy the quality and content of my show and want to make this part of their daily life and help make that, let's say, just a little bit better than it was before. So, again, it is so great to have you here with me. And again, if you have not checked out believemeachieve.com, what are you waiting for? Go check that out after the show. You can get my short form content, long form content, articles, reels, and so much more. And ladies and gentlemen, I've got to make a little bit of a introduction here tonight. I want to let you know that, yeah, I've actually got something pretty interesting to share with you. My book, I'm not going to give you the title yet, but my very first book is coming out, and I think that's an important thing to understand. And maybe you don't understand, um, you know, um, that, but it's really important because I've been working on this book for a while, and there was another book that I was going to write, and this book came out now. So very interesting. And yeah, I know you guys are gonna like it. The book will be out earlier than I expect. It was supposed to be out before the end of the year. I think it's gonna be out before the summer. And yeah, so really it's gonna be good. And we're also gonna have an audio version of the book. And it's gonna be about roughly 13 to 15 chapters, roughly 150, 160 pages, give or out take or so. So it's really exciting for me. It's gonna share two changes that happened in my life, and I think that's something you guys are going to like because a lot of people don't realize one important thing. You know what that is? They don't realize that they have the potential to change. All right. Oh, and if you're thirsty or you're hungry, feel free to go grab yourself something. I got my RO water here. Feel free to grab that. Maybe you want something else like a snack or something. Feel free to get that and come on back to the show. All right. It like I said, it is so great to be with you here on the Inspirations for Your Life show. And I want to let you know that there's so much that I want to share with you. And yeah, it's really a lot. But let's get right into the show because this is going to be an amazing show tonight. All right. Are you ready, guys? I know I am. So, like I said, welcome everyone here to Inspirations for Your Life. I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, engineer, marketing specialist, video producer, podcast host, coach, graduate student, a passionate lifelong learner, and pretty soon, a published author. So, today's episode is titled Integrity Over Image. In a world filled with external pressures and constant comparisons, it's easy to get lost in the shuffle and the need to impress others. But today, we're going to explore the importance of integrity, a quality that builds stronger foundations than any image could ever. And that might be hard for some of you to realize or to captivate. So let's dive in together into why integrity and when chosen over image leads to sustainable success, clarity, and yes, guys, inner power. So, number one is integrity over image. Integrity outlasts performance. Integrity is built through actions, not applause. It's something that stays long after the spotlight fades. And I think a lot of people, they don't realize that they do something for the spotlight, but then when the spotlight fades, like, oh my gosh, like, what do I do now? What am I supposed to do? And I think that's a very important thing to realize is that if you have integrity and the spotlights go out, well, you can get the spotlights again because you are a person that's authentic. All right. Number two, guys, image fades. Character compounds. While an image may change, true character builds over time and creates value. Remember, I said to you guys, we have to be basically accountable when somebody's watching and even when they're not watching. I think that's an important thing that I want to share with you. Even when they're not watching, we need to be accountable. All right. Number three, guys, doing right builds stability. When your action aligns with your value, you create a strong foundation that won't waver in times of uncertainty. Yes. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, let me know. Let's go on to the next point. Next point is really important. I think when we understand about not wavering uncertainty, but let's talk about integrity. Integrity removes the need to impress. When you act with integrity, you no longer need validation from others. You become your own measure of success. Okay. And so that's another very key point. Number five, quiet consistency beats loud claims. Consistency speaks louder than empty promises. People trust what they can rely on, not what's flashy. You might think the flashy gets people's attention, but the truth of the matter is, it really doesn't. It gets their attention for a very short window. And then it's like, well, they didn't even have your attention at all. You might know people on the streets and they call to get your attention, or maybe you're at a game and they're like, soda here, popcorn here, pretzels here, ice cream here, right? And they get your attention for a short while, but then you know what happens? You lose it. And what gets your attention even more is that you're already hungry, so it's fulfilling a need that you have. But if you're not hungry and you're hearing soda here, beer here, popcorn here, and you just ate, so they get your attention, but then you're like, oh, I'm not interested. And you kind of like block them out, don't you? Number six, alignment feels steady when your inner values align with your actions. There's a peace that comes from knowing you're on the right path, guys. You're on the right path. I think that's an important thing to understand. If you don't understand that, then maybe you're going to be lost. Number seven, integrity simplifies decisions when you know who you are and what you stand for. Decisions become easier and more intuitive when you adapt this mindset. Number eight, self-respect is built privately. The way you treat yourself when no one is watching forms the core of your self-respect. So you might think that no one is watching you, and I don't really have to act a certain way, but I'm telling you, you do, because when no one's watching you, that's when your core gets built. Okay? That's the truth, guys. Number nine, integrity creates calm confidence. When you're aligned with your values, you don't need to worry about impressing others. Your confidence comes from within, okay? Not outside you. You might think it's coming from outside you, but that's an illusion. It's coming from within you, and then it is, let's say, pouring out. That's powerful, guys. Number 10, character doesn't need validation. Character is not about others and what they think of you. It's about how you act when no one's around. So I got back to that point, when no one's around. Why? Because when you can act a certain way, no one's around, that's going to be your go-to. That's going to be your staple. That's going to be your autopilot. But if you're conscious of it, you're like, oh, I want to do this because someone's around, you're not going to keep doing that, right? That's important. And all of you are saying, oh, John, that's not true. It is true. Because you become what you think about most often, and you also become what you do most. And so what you do most, what you think about, that's what's forming who you are right now. That's the truth, guys. Number 11, integrity reduces mental noise. When you live authentically, your mind becomes quieter as you're not caught up in the game of keeping up with appearances. Number 12, alignment removes tension. Being true to your values removes the tension between who you are and who you're trying to be. And I think tension comes a lot of different ways and a lot of different times. So that's important to understand. And so, you know, that's really, 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 really important to know. All right. And so, I think when we can think about these things, we can think at something also is very interesting. Doing right builds trust. Trust is earned by consistently doing the right thing, even when it's hard. And yeah, guys, when no one is watching. Number 14, integrity creates emotional safety. When you live with integrity, you feel safe in your own skin, which makes you less reactive and more at peace. Number 15, images that you have and your own image seeks applause. Integrity seeks peace. Image is for approval, but integrity is for inner peace. The external doesn't last, but the peace from the integrity does. So your internal can override your external every single time. I think that's an important thing to realize is that you can rewrite right the memory of your outside by your inside, and your inside thoughts and aspirations echo into your actions outside and who you are. Number 16, character creates resilience. The strength of your character is what keeps you going. When things get tough, it's your resilience in action. Integrity stabilizes emotion. When you stay true to your values, your emotional state becomes more stable and you can handle challenges better. That's another important one. Challenges don't just happen, they, well, transform because of actions you've taken. One of my favorite phrases, and I use this all the time, is that money flows to me easily because of the actions that I take. Let me say that again. Money flows to me easily because of the actions that I take. Money flows to me easily because of the actions that I take. Now, I didn't believe that many years ago, but that started becoming a staple for me. And now it's just on autopilot that money flows to me easily because of the actions that I take. Number 18, self honesty builds clarity. Being honest with yourself is the foundation of clarity. When you know what you truly want, decisions become clearer. Number 19, integrity protects the energy. When you live with integrity, you conserve your energy for the things that truly matter instead of wasting it on maintaining an image. Okay. I think that's an important thing to understand. Number 20, consistency strengthens identity. Your identity is shaped by what you consistently do, not by what you say. Once in a while, that is, right? So you have to realize that you're doing this all the time, not just for that one off moment. I think that's an important thing. Number 21. Number 21 is integrity compounds over time. The more you live with integrity, the more powerful and resilient you become. You see, integrity isn't just a one trick pony, a one time act. It is a daily choice that you incorporate into who you are, to your being, to your personality, to your character, right? And the people that don't incorporate this are what I want to call the people that are just kind of flying by life through the seat of their pants. They're hoping that maybe they'll get lucky, but they don't really have a plan. I've said this before, guys. If you fail to plan, you have planned to fail. Let me say that again. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. If you fail to plan, you have planned to fail. Okay? That's important. Not something I want to, let's say, scare you on, but I want to tell you that if you do not have a desire in your life, did I ever think I was going to be 3 chapters and nearly a quarter of the way through a book? I know I've been thinking about writing a book for years. And the book that I had planned on writing first was a very complicated book. It had all these different exercises and different parts and different things that would come with it, like toys and stuff. And I realized, John, I need to start simpler. I need to start with a book that's about who I am and about some lessons that I learned from some life changing events, things that might have, let's say, set someone else off or maybe demotivate someone. It didn't. It made me stronger. Yeah. Number 22. Quiet discipline builds power. True power comes from the quiet discipline of staying true to your values, even when it's hard. Integrity reduces inner conflict when your actions match your beliefs, your experience, less inner conflict, and more peace of mind. See, this is something that a lot of people don't get. When you can get rid of the conflict, when you can get rid of the noise around you, all right, you can write a book like I did, right? I think those are some powerful things when we think about, writing a book and what it could do. Um, and I think a lot of people don't necessarily get this, but I want to tell you how true it is. Okay, doing less wrong creates freedom. 24. Doing less wrong creates freedom. Sometimes freedom isn't about doing everything perfectly. No, it's not. It's about doing fewer things that compromise your values. I'm going to give you an example. So, being a video producer and media creator, content creator for a long time, um, I have found some of the magic of how to get yourself exposed, how to start going viral on groups. And you know what happens once in a while when you start getting up to, there are different levels on groups, right? Like you have rise contributor, you have top, and then you have world contributor or something. And people, when you start getting up to these levels, they start getting jealous. They're like, oh, did you really create that? I mean, like, that's a bad attitude to have. And when what you're doing is working, do people think that by knocking you, it's going to basically get you to change? No. Maybe somebody who's not confident in themselves, but somebody who's confident looks at them and says, okay, that's somebody who's insecure about themselves. I'm not going to bother with that person. Number 25, guys, character creates momentum. When your character drives your action, momentum builds naturally. It becomes part of who you are. Remember, I said to you that money naturally flows to me through the actions I take. Money naturally flows to me through the actions that I take. Money naturally flows to me through the actions that I take. Many years ago, I had that same ability, but I hadn't done something pretty cool, which is having the awareness. I'm not going to get into it too deep today, but awareness is very important. I also talk about it in my book. I think when we start to understand what awareness is, the subtleties of awareness, and how awareness can change our perception, and that can change our character and our personality and also our integrity. That leads me to my next point, guys. Number 26, integrity builds confidence. As your integrity strengthens, so does your confidence. Confidence that doesn't depend on approval, but on your trust. Like in these groups, am I looking for approval? No. But when I see that 500, 600, 700 people in just a couple days love my post, I'm doing something right. And if there's one or two people, I remember in the one group, the person made a comment, and normally I would just leave it go, but I said, I'm going to respond, but I'm not going to keep like a ping pong back and forth. And I said to him, I said, it's nice of you to put your 2 cents in. Maybe you should actually create a post. He came back and said, oh, I did. It didn't get to the top. I just ignored it. So people that get jealous or people that get threatened, even though you're not trying to threaten them, decide to be defensive because they think that they can short circuit you, that they can break you, that they can stop you on your path. I'll give you an example. It was a couple years ago. I was starting a new group, and this one group was already around, and I came up with a name. And this other group found out I had the name. They told me, oh, you can't have that name. I said, why not? They said, well, it's too close to our name. And then they told me their group was trademark and all this stuff. So I went online. I've incorporated companies before and trademark stuff. And I went online. And then I went back and I said, hey, by the way, you're not trademarked or incorporated or anything like that to that name. We now are. And this is an informal cease and desist. So go away. And then I blocked them. I'm not looking to be nasty to people, but when people, let's say, show their head in the way that they got to be better than you, I'm not better than anybody. I want to help myself grow. I want to help other people grow. But people that are trying to be that, like that, I'm going to call it that oddball, right? in the collection of the ping pong balls or in the collection of the bouncy balls. You remember when you used to jump in the balls pit, right? And they're all, let's say, green, but then there's happens to be one red one down there. And they want to be that red one. They want to be different, not because they want to make a difference, but because they just want to upset the apple cart. That's powerful, guys. That's really, really powerful. And this book, when it comes out, I can't tell you how just me writing the book is giving me an awareness of things that I learned, and I'm relearning them even deeper. It's going to be amazing. Number 27, alignment replaces stress. When you align your actions with your core values, guys, stress just decreases. It melts, like butter by a hot flame. You don't have to fight against yourself anymore, guys. Realize that you have the choice, you have the opportunity to move forward, regardless of what other people are saying around you. That's all just monkey chatter. Okay? That's what you have to realize. You are stronger than that. Okay? Because there are going to be people that are going to knock you off your game, whether you're in football, whether you're in baseball, basketball, or whether you're just in life. People are going to do this. It's just life is a game. I don't want to knock somebody off, but what do I do when I'm competitive? I'm knocking them off, but I'm not being rude. I'm being competitive. What a lot of these people are doing on social media is they're being vindictive. They're being rude. They're being some words that I'm not going to mention here, like 4-letter words, because they have a very big ego. I'm just going to tell you that, right? I always tell you, you guys can like me, you can love me, you can hate me. I don't care. Of course, I like you to love me, but I realize that you may not be in alignment with me, and that's okay. Number 28, sharpen judgment. That's what integrity does. When you live with a true integrity, you become better at making decisions because your trust, your values, and your instincts are more congruent. They're more in line. You can't get in alignment in 2 minutes. To be in alignment, you need to have awareness, and not just of yourself, of many other things. And then when you get in alignment, do you recognize things that have to change? Or do you suddenly say, oh, wait a minute, I'm perfect? Because I'm far from perfect. I'm always looking to become better, help people become better versions of themselves, help me become better versions of themselves. That's where my slogan comes from, believemeachieve.com. Number 29, guys, being real beats being liked. I'll be real and authentic any day over worrying about who likes me. People respect authenticity more than they respect the facade. Okay? The facade, when you think about it, let's say an edge on a building, it could be an awning coping or something, or the facade meaning the extension of you that really isn't you. It's a false front you put on because, well, you're trying to hide the you that you don't want people to see. Being real is far more valuable than being liked. And if you don't believe that, you need to change. Because if you're waiting for every person to pat you on the back, shake your hand, oh, good job, John, good job, good job, you're going to wait all day and you're going to burn yourself down. I'm just being honest. You might not want to hear that. And a lot of times I say things on this program that you might not want to hear, but I think that's why it's a good program that helps you grow. Number 30, guys, integrity creates direction. Direction. It gives us focus. Integrity not only creates the peace, but also gives us a clear sense of direction. When we understand a problem, we understand a situation, we can gain the resources and we can very quickly figure out what direction we need to go. You know where you're going and why you're going when you have direction. But I'm going to tell you that direction is not something you get overnight. It's not something that you get by, buying it on Amazon or going to your local food store. Direction is something you have to experience with your mind and your body. But the question people ask me is, John, why didn't you get these realizations when you were 10 or when you were 21? And back then, I probably would have said because I didn't want to. Now I'm going to give you the truthful answer. The reason that I didn't get these perceptions back then is I was too busy worrying about everything else around me, and I hadn't developed a sense of appreciating awareness. There's always something that's happened to me in the last 5 or 10 years, guys. This is not something I've had my whole life, but it's something that will carry me forever and something that has one of the biggest assets that I've learned. And I love to teach other people how to be aware, because when we can be aware, we can gain the data, we can get the numerical values. And when we can measure something, guys, guess what we can do? We can change it. Because we can measure it, now we can alter something to change it. The best example I can give you is biofeedback. I don't know if you guys have ever done biofeedback. So, did this many, many years ago. I remember going to Willowbrook Mall and paying, I think it was at the time, I think I paid like $120 or $150 for this nice little bag with this little tiny thing. I still have it, with the little headphones and the little thing that goes around your finger. And what it does is it measures your biofeedback. And again, if we can know from the sounds and we can control it, we can affect our stress level. We can get ourselves into a lower level. We can lower our brain waves. That's pretty cool, right? Well, guys, this has been very interesting. And at the core of every decision we make, there's a choice: the choice to act with integrity or to act out of image. And to not act, guys, is to act, just in case you were thinking, well, I'm not going to do anything. Well, you're still acting if you don't act. When we choose integrity, we choose to be rooted in something far more powerful than temporary approval or validation from others. Integrity builds strength, clarity, and confidence over time. It transforms the way we interact with the world and how we view ourselves. The key takeaway is simple: let your character, not your image, define you. Be consistent, be true to your values, and in doing so, you will create lasting impact in every area of your life. Be sure, ladies and gentlemen, to please check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, of course, inspiring creations, long form, short form, reels, more, accessible 24 hours a day from your computer and, of course, your smart device. Have yourself a great one, ladies and gentlemen. I'll catch you real soon. Be well, everyone.